Getting ready to eat, and before I eat, I went to the store a little bit earlier, and I found these. I'm not keto or anything, but I live in Mexico, and so I always find like little things that I've never seen before. It says it's gluten free, no trans fat, no cholesterol, no lactose, and the sugar azúcares is 0.6 grams, so it's less than a gram of sugar. So, oh, and it's got 18.9 grams of protein. That's what really made me get it. All right, let's try it. Yeah, I don't do keto. Oh, there's a lot of cookies in here. Little biscuits, keto cookies. I guess I have a feeling that they'll taste like oatmeal cookies. Smells, I don't know. I wouldn't get them again. They're not horrible. They need to be dipped in some Nutella. I'm not gonna eat the second one. Not without some Nutella. This is a biscuit. Kind of tastes like peanut butter cookies a little bit. Like the texture is like an oatmeal cookie, but the taste is like a peanut butter. Oh, it's made with a lot of almonds too. I don't have any Nutella. Mm. But definitely some Nutella would make that chef's kiss because it's not sweet at all. What I have for lunch is beans that I made from scratch, 3 meatballs, and some rice. If you guys don't know, hey y'all, hey, my name's Kelly Marisha. I live in Mexico. I moved here about 2.5, 3 years ago. And one of the things that I've noticed, well, I live my life on a pretty regular routine. And yeah, one of the routines or one of the things that I started doing in my routine is making sure that I was eating on a schedule. When I got here, I probably was back up to 300 pounds. But as you see, I'm not 300 pounds. I'm about 250 today. And a lot of that has to do with, I believe, eating on a schedule and staying active on a schedule. Now that I finished that little damn cookie, I feel like I could eat another one. It's just, maybe it just took me a while to get used to it. It definitely needs some chocolate though. So anyway, I live pretty much on a pretty regular routine every day. I do the same things every day. I eat the same things most days. Today, one of the things I do is try to eat as high protein as I can. So beans, meatballs, rice. There's no way that I'm going to be able to, I made these meal prep things way too big this time. The first day I ate the whole thing and I felt disgusting. Oh, and then I found these delicious drinks. Anyway, I ate the whole thing. I felt disgusting. I won't do that anymore. So now I know that I'll probably eat a little more than half of this, and that's fine. If you're a person struggling with food, I think today would be a good day to be out here talking about food. If you're a fat person and you're trying to like figure out like how not to be so fat without starving yourself, this is definitely a good place to come because I've lost 40 pounds since May. And I'm going to tell you how I did it on this video. I'm going to tell you my details of what I did, right? So whenever I go to the States to visit my family, I gain a lot of weight because A, there's a lot of temptation there. B, there's high fructose corn syrup in the food, which reactivates an addiction. And C, because I have now access to things that I like, food is and was linked to memories for me. So like once I'm back into an old environment, it'll make me feel like I've got to eat like I used to eat when I lived in that old environment, right? And so that's a really big thing that you have to try to change or shift when you're trying to like master your food and master what you're putting in or whatever. Anyway, so when I got back from the States, I was in the States for like 6 weeks. And I was back up to like 290 pounds. And I was like, oh no. Now, one thing you guys may not know about me, because if you're new here, you won't know, but I used to weigh 350 pounds. And for a year and a half, what started out as losing weight ended up being where I was basically anorexic. I stopped eating. And I went from 350 pounds to 190 pounds. Now, everybody was like, oh my God, you look so good. But when I go back and I look at those pictures, I don't think I look good. And I know that I didn't feel good. My mental health was not good at all. Because what I was doing was I was not eating. When I would eat, I'm talking about for an entire day, I would eat one meatball, one of these meatballs for an entire day and take a laxative. So I was addicted to diuretics and I was not eating. That's how I lost weight. Like really, I lost the weight in 10 months, not a year and a half, but I was doing it all total for a year and a half. And that's why I really don't listen to people when they have complaints about fat people. Number one, fat people ain't none of your damn business. If you got less than $1,000 in your bank account, shut the fuck up talking about fat people. Go get you some money. You know what I mean? If you can't pay your rent, shut the fuck up talking about fat people. It's none of your business. If people want to be fat and kill themselves being fat, it's none of your business. It ain't got shit to do with you. Mind your own business. But I also had that stance because people don't give a damn really about your health. people lie and try to act and fake like they do, but they don't give a damn about your health. They only care about jumping together to say ugly things under the guise of health just because they want to say ugly things because they hate themselves. Nobody really gives a damn about your health and your well-being. If they gave so much care, come pay some of my bills if you care so much about my life. You don't. You just want to be, hey, Aaron. Hey, hey. You just want to, be in people's business and talk bad about them. And I'm not for that because nobody cared when I was smaller and I was on diuretics and I was damn near anorexic. Nobody gave a fuck about that. All they cared about was that I looked smaller. So no, you really didn't care about my health. You just wanted me to be in a place where you were comfortable looking at me. Well, don't look at me because I never asked you to look at me and I don't even know who the fuck you are, right? So I say all that about that. If you're a person that's concerned about your food and getting shit together, find out what works for you. This is what worked for me. And so, number one thing is, like I said, there is a lot of high fructose corn syrup in the food here in Mexico. I'm not saying that they don't have it at all. What I am saying is that the high fructose corn syrup down here is so minimal because the government here in Mexico knows how toxic it is, and they basically make the tariffs and the money higher for people that want to bring things into the country that have high fructose corn syrup to deter them from bringing high fructose. Figure out your formula. Do another something. But we'll mess with aspartame. But please don't put your high fructose corn syrup in here, right? And so they make it harder and more difficult. They put barriers up for people who want to put the corn syrup. I don't need these anymore. I don't need those. Okay. Let me know if that messed up anything, but I don't think it did. Anyway, so because I don't have that addiction to the corn syrup, it's that feeling like you have to eat this and you have to eat it now and that you're craving it. I don't have that anymore because I don't have that toxin in my body as much as I have in the US. If you're a person that's always like, I'm always hungry, I want more and more and more, you're never satiated, or you're always having cravings and stuff, yes, it is having something to do with sugar. Yes, it does. And sugar and yeast in your body, it absolutely does, and high fructose corn syrup. So when you eliminate those or reduce those, they really do help the craving. So I don't crave sugar and sweets a whole lot down here. When I'm in the States, the moment I put something from the States in my mouth, here comes some cravings back. Now I'm careful because I've already been conditioned that I don't eat like that anymore. So I have to remember who I am here, no matter what location I go to, right? Even if I don't care if I go, because I love Europe too. If I go back over to Rome, now over there, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat because I eat gelato and pasta every day in Europe, and guess what? I lose weight. They let you know, but the stuff's not the same. That was a big eye opener when I traveled outside of the United States and I realized that there. Hey Zoe, I realized that the food in the United States is poison and it is designed to keep you eating more and more and more and to continue to have slander and banter against fat people, fat, blah, 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 blah. You're so unhealthy and you're so this. Well, stop putting the shit in the food that makes us fat. Stop putting the shit in the food that makes us hungry all the time. Stop putting MSG in the food. They don't want to do that. They want to continue to put the food stuff in the food to say that it extends the shelf life and it makes it look pretty and it makes it stick together and makes it look good. Then you eat it. Then you want more of it. Then you get fat. And then they have a pill to heal you. So it's a vicious cycle. And if you're not aware to that, I don't know what to tell you. So living here has helped me to kind of, like I said, cut off some of that that hunger, that kind of cravings, that addiction. But also, I've started doing the carb resistant trick. If you don't know about it, it works for me. It works with rice and it works with potatoes. I cook the potatoes or rice if I want to eat that the day before, stick it in the refrigerator, let it cool down, let it completely get chilled actually. And then the next day I eat it. I always eat day old potatoes and day old rice because that is been shown to change the starch and make it more resistant so that you do not absorb it as much. Another thing is when I eat, I usually eat my protein, my vegetables first, protein next, and then my carbohydrate. Now, for this one, I want to eat my beans and rice together. But if on a normal plate, I would eat my vegetables first, I would eat my meat second, and then I would eat my carbohydrates at the very end. So I'm do a little different on this one because of what it is, beans and rice. They need to be together, right? But it's still very high in protein. The beans are high in protein. The meat, of course, is high in protein, and then the rice I made a couple of days ago, so it's definitely been in the refrigerator doing what it's supposed to do. I also every morning I'm out walking. I walk and jog, but I walk and jog every morning about 2 miles, a little over like maybe 5,500 steps, 2 miles every single morning. Let me take that back. I take off one day a week. Um, but that's what I do. So I walk or and jog on a combo, or sometimes I just walk, depending on how I feel, for 2 miles every morning. I meal prep my foods. I try to eat heavy protein, and then I also have worked on my gut healing. I'm the type of person that can go days without using the restroom. And so I've worked on the right amount of supplements to help me to eliminate every day instead of like going 3 and 4 days. So walking every day, being consistent walking, more protein rich foods. Oh, my drinks. I don't drink anything that has sugar in it. Now I know people want to complain about aspartame and say they can taste it or say it's not good for you. I don't give a fuck about any of that because it's good for me. Okay, it's good to me and for me. So I don't drink any drinks with sugar. I'm not willing to waste. If I'm going to eat a cookie today, I'm not going to waste my sugar on my drinks. And I drink a lot, so I had to reduce the sugar out of my drinks because I'm gonna stick it right here. This is such a good drink. If you're ever in Mexico, definitely try the bee products. They have an apple, manzana, and then they have grapefruit, and I keep forgetting how to say grapefruit in Spanish. And then they have this lime, and the lime has been my favorite because I'm a lemonade drinker. I love lemonade. So those four things consistently since May 1st, I've dropped 40 pounds. And that really wasn't the point of me doing this. The point was I live on a schedule, and I knew that I needed to have my morning devotion, have my mental time. So I did that for mental. I was walking just for my mental health. When I go outside, I put my headphones on and I just start daydreaming. I done wrote movies, songs, my next 10 years of life. Like I done got so many ideas while I'm walking. So that's why I was walking, because I enjoy walking. But then other stuff started happening that really, again, was not the focus. I just wanted to walk. I knew that when I got back from the States, I was really sick. I was so swollen. Like I said, I was back up to 290 pounds. And I could feel myself. I'm letting my food cool down if you guys are wondering why I haven't eaten. I could still feel like when I told you guys, shit, that probably happens in 2017, 2018, 2017, where I stopped eating. And so I could feel myself saying to myself, like, just stop eating. And I was like, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not going to stop eating. I'm not going to go keto. I'm not about to stress myself out. I'm not about to eat nasty things. I'm not about to restrict myself. I'm not about to be hungry. Like, I just wasn't about to do any of that. I'm 41. So that wasn't even appealing to me. Not at all. To be trying to go without and starve myself. Not at all. So again, I just started with walking, and I went back to, I said, well, when you were meal prepping, you were doing good with that. So I went back to meal prepping. And like I said, I meal prep heavy protein, as much protein as I can. And then I found these drinks, and I replaced all the juice that I was drinking. I replaced it with the sugar-free drinks, and before I knew it, the weight was just coming off without me having to starve myself. Because I'm not going to starve myself. Mm, that's these beans and rice. Pinto beans. Mm, I love beans and rice so much. I like all kinds of beans. I don't like peas. Mm-mm. I do not like peas. Mm. Now hold on. I need my pickles. Mm. Oh, this is so good. Hmm. I thought I had some purple onions in here, and I think I do, but I gotta cut the onion down. I don't care. Let's cut it real quick. Y'all give me a second. I just want to cut me a few. I feel like my mama. When we were younger, my mom was an excellent cook. She's still alive now, but she just doesn't cook as much anymore. So she's kind of lost some of her juice just because she don't have no family. She's an empty nester. She an old lady, so she don't need to cook. Because when we're there, we cook for her. But my mom, excellent cook. She would spend all day cooking, and then when it was time to eat, it would tick us off. We'd be sitting at the table, and it was really rude of us to be doing that. Because after she done cooked all day, the least we could do was let her take her time so she could make her plate. But she was very particular with the way she wanted to make her plate. And she always would make her plate or whatever. She'd sit down. She'd always forget that she didn't cut her a piece of onion. She would always get up, like, oh, I forgot me a piece of onion. So I started getting smart. I started cutting the onion for her. No, mama, you ain't forgot the onion. I got it right here. So now I love all onions, but purple onions I can eat raw. I got me some pickles, pepinillos, and some purple onions to go with my meatballs. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of give it a hamburger feeling. Mm. Mm. These are my favorite meatballs when I go to the store. I'm always so happy to see them because people know that they're good. These things be gone. This jar is almost gone. That don't have to be that good. Fuck. Mm. 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 That was damn good. That was damn good. Okay. Now I'm getting full. So I'm gonna eat a few more of these beans and rice. This is probably all I'll be able to eat. Whew, this is even less than I did yesterday. I ate less, and I feel like I'm gonna eat even less today. I eat what I can. Oh, I forgot to say. And I intermittent fasting. Intermittently fast. That's it. I intermittently fast. I'm telling y'all, that's some good shit. I eat between the hours of 11 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to think about staying the same time zone. I'm going to the States next week. I'll probably switch to their time zone. I'll be in Central. Hmm. I'm going all a bunch of different time zones. Doing Central, Pacific again, but I'm not on Pacific now. So the time zone that I'm in now, sometimes like during what do you call it? Daylight savings time, because my family is in the Central. So in daylight savings time, we're on the same. We go back onto the same time zone, and then when they do daylight savings again, I'm an hour behind. I don't know when daylight savings is because we don't have it here. And actually, I never paid attention to daylight savings because the phones switch for you. So when we got cell phones and the cell phones started switching. Mm-mm, mm, mm. Okay, let's take a break. I don't feel like I'm gonna eat anymore, but I could still maybe do one more spoonful because this is my meal for the day. I'm just full. I'm not stuffed, but I'm full. One more bite. Some onions. Do 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 do. I am going to combine with yesterday's what I couldn't eat. Am I? Maybe I'm not. It's too. It's about the same amount. Okay, I thought I was gonna combine it, but I'm not. I'm not. And tomorrow is the last day. Like, if I don't eat it tomorrow, then I won't eat it anymore. I gotta draw the line on meal prep sometimes. Draw the line. My mama, y'all, my mama eats stuff. Country woman. She will eat stuff for weeks after. I'm like, no, mama, that's not right. I'm going to rinse the spoon and this knife, because I don't love dishes in my sink. And like I told you, this is pretty much my meal for the day. So the kitchen about to close. I'll do it later on this evening. Put some of these dishes away because they're getting jam packed. Okay, vitamins taken. Drink. Oh, I need to do my moringa bitters. They are just as nasty as they sound, bitters. They're disgusting. So you chase it with something. Woo! Y'all see this food belly? It ain't like this before I eat. Before I eat, it be like, after I eat, oh. Let's go read. Oh, I just gave y'all all the ass, didn't I? You know what's so funny? I just got off of this live. And this woman, she really was talking good. She was talking about, well, let me say this. One thing about me is that I lived homeless for 7 months. But even before I lived homeless, I've always been able to understand when people that were kind of a little, seemed like they were a little off or touched or whatever, I could still understand the things that they were saying. I was able to hear them, right? And this lady kind of reminded me of that, of a religious person that is kind of religious is just the word I can say. I don't know how to say it without, and it's not necessarily worried about anybody judging what I'm saying, but I want to make sure that I'm saying how I really feel. I think that the woman was saying a lot of good things. So I want to tell you what she said. It was really, to me, I was blessed. But she was fanatic. That was the word. She was fanatical, and she was passionate in her speaking. I had no issue with that. But a lot of people that were coming onto her live, because when you're on live, you get people from every country coming on, and so more European countries, they're just not used to the expression and charismaticness of Black people, and especially Black people that are religious and fanatically religious. That's like, it's aggressive to them, it's hollering to them, it's screaming, it's yelling to them, because they're not accustomed to it. It's not a part of their culture. But to Black people that grew up in Pentecostal churches and Baptist churches, it's a part of our culture. So we never mistake it for it being anger necessarily, more so a righteous indignation or passion. So she was on there and she was talking good. I'm gonna tell you what she said though. I was with it. But she was talking about she was unbreakable. She's like, I'm unbreakable. You cannot break me. Um, because I'm on my mission and I know that I'm doing what God has called me to do. And she says that the Holy Spirit told her, this is what she says, the Holy Spirit told her that when people persecute you or they get on your live talking about you, that's just the bending, but it's not the breaking. And I was just like, honey, you better talk. But in the midst of that, and I'm probably gonna take this live down later because I don't like talking about my closed beliefs with people. I don't, because my beliefs are not open for correction. They're not. I live a life that I'm very happy about. I wake up every morning happy. I'm happy about what I do, what I believe, what I feel. I don't have big chunks in my days where I'm wishing I was somewhere else. Y'all that work jobs and you hate your job and you're miserable, don't talk to me because we are not the same. You're not like me, and I'm not like you because I don't have that. I have freed myself from that. Right? People that are still trying to people that don't say no to people and get used, and you can't talk to me because I'm not like you and you're not like me. I have some things that I believe in how I move that keep me protected, keep me boundaried up, and keep me safe. But they also keep me isolated a lot of times, and I'm happy with it. And I'm going on 5 years. I love it. I connect when I want to connect, and when I don't, I don't. Right? With no guilt, very easily, because I have the money to do so. I have the money to disconnect and connect and reconnect as much as I want to. I move like a God because I am God. I believe I'm God. I know that I'm God. So my beliefs are not up for correction. Always expansion, but never correction. Um, but what she was saying, because I do believe that we build characters, we build who we are out of fear most of the time versus really thinking about and really taking the time to get to know ourselves and remembering how we've always been, our natural inclinations. And instead of building lives off of that, we built a lot of our lives off of uh, social, societal standards, norms, things not to get in trouble, things not to get talked about, or you saw somebody else get in trouble, you didn't want to get in trouble, or somebody told you it was the devil, things of that nature. I don't believe in any of that. So a lot of who we are is built on that, unless you've done the deconstruction. And I don't think the deconstruction is a finished thing. I think that I can deconstruct until the day that I die, because I'm always unraveling and finding out what's my voice, what's not my voice. I'm always unraveling and finding these little key things that are keeping me from having the correct perspective, the perspective that could take me further, the perspective that could give me what I want. I'm always unraveling what and how I gained these beliefs, judgments, opinions of how I feel about something. And once I release, like if I decide, okay, I don't want to believe that anymore. I don't want to have this opinion anymore. I don't want to have this judgment anymore. What do you want to have? I want to have this judgment because this judgment is going to allow me to see other opportunities. This judgment will allow my eyes to be open to see different things that could be used to help me. This judgment will help me to see that there never was a barrier or a block in the first place. It was always me. A lot of times, the only barrier and block that you have is a definition of something. A lot of times, the only barrier and block that you've ever had was a judgment of something that wasn't even your judgment. It was something somebody else taught you. They put it on you. You heard them say it, and that's what they believed. And if that's your role model and your example, you hold some of the same beliefs as your role models and examples. And I implore people, when you look at the people, the 5 adults that were the closest to you, that were showing you how to be a man and a woman, or showing you what a man and a woman should be if you were an opposite, whatever your opposite sex, you go back and you look at them and ask yourself, are they living a life like you want to copy, you want to emulate how they living? Are they living in the same house? Ain't had no renovations, no updates, same furniture, looking a mess. The neighborhood is hood as fuck, but they still in the same house, not doing nothing. Like, you really got to go back and look at that. I don't care. Sometimes it's your own mom and daddy. Can my mama keep a roof over her head? Am I going to have to do a GoFundMe for my mama when she passes? Because my mama don't got her shit together? Is my daddy still acting like a pimp? Still running through young girls? Every time he see you, every time he come around, he got a new girl, a new young girl on his arm? Just quita. No stability. You look at your parents and your uncles and shit, people that was around you and teaching you how to be. If they lives now ain't looking like anything of your dreams, I would behoove you to start doing some big time shadow work and some big time pattern work and paying attention to who you getting ready to become. Because you cannot become anything different than what they are. If they're the example and if you're still doing the same things that they taught you, go look at your future. That's what it looks like. If you're not proud of that, if you don't want that future for yourself, you better go sit. You better go. I'm not a big reader, but I got a few of them under my belt. Got my little library over here. It's my favorite book right now. Go find you some new role models. Go find you some role models or role models. The role that they are modeling is the roles that you are continuing to emulate. You're still modeling the same roles that were modeled to you when you were a child. So when that woman was speaking about you can't break me, and I'm not a Christian, so she didn't want me on her live. And no. She said she wasn't a Christian, and I was just having a conversation with her because she was reading notes, and I was like, well, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Jesus, but I really like what you're saying. She got angry, told me that I shouldn't be on there. She was getting ready to block me. I was like, you ain't got to block me, girl. I'm gone. That's where it got fanatic, right? Like, to the point where you can't be around or have other people or share your information with other people because of how they believe. Who gives a fuck how they believe? You just want people to get the understanding of what you're saying. Like, there are so many beliefs in this world. Nobody's one belief is right. You cannot be so arrogant and dumb to believe that one person's faith is the right one. You just can't. I remember, I'm going to say this because this is funny to me. I remember, like, and people still ask one of your people that's a church member still. If you're still a church member, go ask them. Just ask them. What happens to the people in the tropics or in Africa or in remote places that don't hear about Jesus and they die? What do you? I'll never forget, one of the ladies at the church told me, well, I believe Jesus can come to them in a dream and a vision and give them the opportunity to. And the person who told me that still ain't got no job. They ain't had no job in 25 years, living on a fixed income, living a life I would never want. But you was gonna tell me that as a child. I'm glad I got eyes. Cause baby, how you living? I don't want to live. I don't want to believe what you believe. To be honest, most Christians don't live the lives that I want to live. They don't have no money. They sick. They ain't got no damn money. I don't want to live like that. Seemed like to me I had to shake up my beliefs. That's for me. But I think what I'm trying to say, express to you guys, is when she was just talking about she was unbreakable. And so what I heard, I'm very clear about what she was saying from, and she said she's not a Christian. Yes, she is. From a religious standpoint of view, I understood what she was saying because I was raised in that in Christianity. But from my point of view, I just was hearing, the person that you cultivate, the life that you cultivate, the new parameters and rules and the new formats and the new building blocks and principles that you live by, when you really start to live by them and you start to see results and you start to love what you see and love who you created yourself to be and love who you are, that's how you become unbreakable. So when she was talking about I'm unbreakable, I was like, yes, girl, I'm unbreakable too. Like, can't nobody change the way I think right now. They cannot change. You cannot. Why, Kelly? You said you can always expand. Yeah, I can always expand, and there are ways that my spirit knows how to communicate to me that are very unconventional on how to expand me. I'm always up for expansion through my spirit. I'm always open for expansion in that way. But as far as someone correcting and saying that what I believe is not true, I gotta see it in my life to believe it's not true. And because I see it in my life, because I implement it in my life, and because I like the results of what I implement in my life, it's true to me. You may be too scared to make it true for you, but I'm a brave ass motherfucker. The name Kelly means warrior. I ain't never been scared. I was taught to be scared, but I got rid of that real quick. My mama would tell me, tell y'all, and my mama's a Christian. My mama would tell y'all, I'm that child. I'm the one. I always been that. I'm always gonna do what I want to do the way I want to do it. I'm gonna figure it out. And when I get the fruit that I want, if you don't have the fruit that you want, how you gonna tell me that what I'm doing it? No, I got the fruit I want. Go get the fruit you want. Go find out how you get the fruit that you want. I have found out. I am constantly always curating and cultivating myself to be the version of me that I'm most proud and most happy of. And so, as I have done that through the years, um, I was just listening to what she said. I'm unbreakable. You cannot break me. I don't care where I go. Who I am is not environmentally specific. Who I am is who I am no matter where I go. I'm a goddess no matter where I am. No matter who I'm around, I'm a goddess. And I'm always going to be that goddess. I'm always going to speak as a goddess. I'm always going to speak as a divine. I'm always going to speak as God over my life, not your life, my life, right? I'm always going to speak that. And if there are people in that environment that do not, agree or make it uncomfortable for me, or I'm gonna decide, wait a minute, am I gonna stay here and make you leave, or am I gonna leave? That's always the question, because I can make anybody leave, or I can leave, or I could just stay. And sometimes I got the time, and I'm just gonna stay and be God in your face and make you real mad. I like doing that sometimes. I do. I like just being God and being a God that's right in people's faces, because especially at this stage, because there is a stage where you lose. In the very beginning, when you're switching over to an energetic or a mystic mindset, I'm more energetic than mystic for sure. When you move over to that, you're absolutely going to lose. It's a season of losing, because you got to lose everything that was built on the old way. And then you've got to build up everything for the new way. And then you don't even know how to build things up in the new way. So you got to learn how to build things up the new way. There's a season of loss. And sometimes people, if you're the wrong person, you'll get embarrassed and you'll run back to the old, because you don't want to lose and you don't want people to see you lose. I didn't give a fuck. Because to me, as I was losing, I felt lighter. The more I lost, the lighter I felt. The more I lost, the more freer I felt. So that was my trade-off, honestly, to be honest. Like, I was like, I ain't going back in that, because I like the way I feel, right? And then when I started seeing results, sometimes I like being God in people's faces, because I wasn't supposed to win according to their belief. I wasn't supposed to be successful according to their belief. So if I am successful and if I am winning right in your face, what does that say about your belief? They're saying that your belief could have an error. Could have an error. Your belief could be very narrow, as most Christian beliefs are very narrow, and they don't leave room for expansion and growth. Which is very ironic, because the Bible talks about especially with the character in the Bible named Jabez, who prays for enlargement. Jabez prayed for God to enlarge his territory. To enlarge does mean to shift mentally, because the way that you believe in it, there's a limit. There's a glass ceiling to it. And to open that limit up and to get past that glass ceiling is opening up yourself mentally. But anyway, I enjoyed what she was saying about being unbreakable and building a character and building a role for yourself. Because the true truth is that once you've built yourself and you are unbreakable because you love who you've become, you love the fruit, you love the way people respond to who you've become, you love everything about it, right? Once you fall in love with who you've created yourself to be, you are unbreakable. And then you become a role model to others. That's the best part. That is the best part. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I do mentorships, and so to hear, I have one lady that says, "Kelly, when I met you, I knew that we were going to work together. I just knew." I have another lady that basically she's like, I just when I saw you, I wanted to be you." What? And it was so interesting because I was coming off the heels of releasing my own role model, right? Really seeing my own role model as being very limited and very narrow, and that wasn't how I wanted to be. I didn't want to live very limited and narrow. And then I was looking at my role model, and I saw the types of things that they were bringing in, their successes, and I had to honestly say that I didn't want any of that. I didn't want their life. I didn't want, like, if I had their life, I would be very sad and lonely. And I had to realize that that means you're going to have to course correct and find some new ways of being. Because if you continue to be the way that you were modeled and demonstrated to be, here are your choices. And I didn't want door number 1, 2, or 3. I don't want any of it. So anyway, let's read a little bit. This book is called Psycho Cybernetics, and I know that you guys have, if you're not new, you've heard me read from this book before. Oh no, my glasses are upstairs. Let's go upstairs and get them real quick. Maxwell Moss is the name. So, give me 1 second. I am gonna go upstairs because when I start reading, I want y'all to be like, "Oh, this girl can read." I don't want you to be like, "Girl, you stuttering over the words." I can't say the words. Okay, hold on. Glasses. And I don't feel my highlighter. I knew I was gonna misplace that thing. Is it over here? No. But I do need to take this upstairs. So I've been trying to do my castor oil for almost 2 months now, and I keep forgetting. Anyway, interesting. Okay. Uh, okay. Battery's on 20%. Now I just divinated. I just opened up to where I wanted to read, and it actually is piggybacking off of what I've been expressing. So thank you for alignment, Kelly. You always know, girl. So the name of this title, the subtitle is "New Roles Require New Self-Images." It doesn't make sense, said the admin. I've worked for this and dreamed about it. It's just what I've always wanted. I know I can do the work, and yet, for some reason, my self confidence is shaken. I suddenly wake up as if from a dream and ask myself, what in the world is small potato like me doing in a job like this? He had become super sensitive to his appearance and thought perhaps that his weak chin might be the cause of his discomfort. I don't look like a business executive, he said. He felt plastic surgery might be the answer to his problem. There was the stay at home mother whose children were running her crazy and whose husband irritated her so much that she teed off on him daily. for no cause. What is the matter with me? She says. My children are really nice kids I should be proud of. My husband is a really nice guy. I'm always ashamed of myself afterwards. She felt that a facelift might give her more confidence and cause her family to appreciate her more. The trouble with these people, and so many more like them, is not their physical appearance, but their self image. They find themselves in a whole new role and are not sure what kind of person they are supposed to be in order to live up to that role. Or they have never developed a clear cut self image of themselves in any role. The picture of success. In this chapter, I'm going to give you the same prescription that I would give you should you come to my office. If I found that an easy to remember picture of the successful personality is contained in the letters of the word success itself, or I have found that an easy to remember picture of the successful person is contained in the letters of the word success themselves. The success type person is composed of a sense of direction, understanding, courage, compassion, esteem, self confidence, and self acceptance. Sense of direction. The advertising executive straightened himself out and regained his confidence within a short time. Once he was clearly, Once he saw clearly that for several years he had been motivated by strong personal goals that he wanted to attain, including securing his present position. These goals, which were important to him, kept him on track. However, once he got the promotion, he ceased to think that the terms of what he wanted, but in term he ceased to think of the terms that he wanted, but in terms of what others expected of him, or whether he was living up to the people's goals and standards. Okay, I'm stuttering there because I want to slow down and read that over again, because we talk about something called imposter syndrome, and I feel like this is really uh, highlighting something about imposter syndrome. So I'm going to read this again, okay? And then I'm going to pause again. The advertising executive straightened himself out and regained his confidence within a short time. Once he saw clearly that for several years he had been motivated by strong personal goals that he wanted to attain, including securing his present position. The goals which to attain, including security, the goals he wanted to attain, including securing his present position. The goals, which were important to him, kept him on track. However, once he, this is the part, however, once he got the promotion, he ceased to think in terms of what he wanted. What he wanted. He stopped thinking about what he wanted. You hear me? But in terms of what others expected him to be, or whether he was living up to the people's goals and standards. That's profound. I feel like what this passage is saying is, and I encourage anybody who has an imposter syndrome, and I definitely have had imposter syndrome before, because what I do for a living is I'm not a therapist, but I'm something like a therapist, right? And I'm an emotional wellness practitioner, but a lot of people, like I said, they would try to interchange that as a therapist, but it is not. I work with therapists, and I'm the therapist because I have a lot of therapists on my role. But the more I started talking to people, just because talking is a really big gift for me. I love talking and teaching. And the more I kept talking to people, the more they were like, wow, you really have a lot of insight. You're really smart. I want to talk more about different things with you. Well, the more that started happening and I started getting more and more clients, and then I started getting celebrity clients, I definitely got into an imposter syndrome. And I sabotaged myself because I felt like, oh, it's just a matter of time that they're going to start seeing me as just regular, little old, fat me. And like the ruse is going to be over. They're not going to see me as, I took my mind off of what I knew. I took my mind off of how beautifully I can speak and teach. I took my mind off of my gift. I have a gift of hearing. I can hear. I can hear and interpret a lot of things through what I hear. And I took my mind off of that. And it makes me think of a scripture in the Bible. You guys know I'm not Christian, but I was raised Christian. It made me think of when Peter went out into the water with Christ and Peter began to sink because Peter took his eyes off of Christ. And I do believe that, I am the Christ. You are the Christ. We all, the Christ is inside of us. It's a Christ consciousness, not an actual Christ the person. My belief. You don't have to agree, no problem. But the point I'm trying to make is that taking your mind off of what got you there and starting to think about if others can see you the way that you see yourself, or if they appreciate or like or enjoy you, that's imposter syndrome. Taking your eyes off of yourself and what you know you can do, your not just your goals, but your successes. Taking your mind and your eyes and your focus off of your proven successes and giving the power of your success over to the opinion of somebody else, that is how you get to the imposter syndrome. That is how you sink into the water. And that is how you start becoming insecure. When the voice that you're hearing is not yours. And the thing is that a lot of times we have these internal dialogues for so long that these voices, we don't even hear the originator of the voice anymore. It sounds like it's our voice. It sounds like it's coming from us. But I will tell you guys this. One thing about me, could I start to tell whose voice I was hearing? If it was an unkind voice, I knew it wasn't mine because I love myself. I am arrogant with myself. I'm obsessed with myself. I'm borderline like really, no, not borderline. I'm very self-indulgent. It's all about me, right? So when I hear a voice that is not kind and is not loving, it's not me. Because a corrective voice, or maybe you should think about it this way, is still kind. It still sounds kind to me, right? And I definitely have times where it's like, wait a minute, Kel, think about this way, think about this way. But if the tone of it is kind, if the tone is not kind and it's ugly, I know, but I would never talk to myself like that. Even when I'm talking to myself about getting up to go work out in the morning, it's kind. It might be like, you better get your ass up. You better, to me, the way I speak to my relationship is kind. I am not being ugly to myself. For what? I don't need to be ugly with myself. I'm a gentle flower. I talk to myself kindly because I understand through kindness. I don't need to be manhandled. So therefore, I would never speak to myself unkind. And that's how I know when it's an unkind voice, it's not me. So I implore you guys to find out when those internal dialogues come that are starting to talk. If it ain't your voice, stop listening to it. Don't let no other voice be louder than your voice. Okay, let me read that again and then I'm going to keep going. However, once he got the promotion, he ceased to think in terms of what he wanted, but in terms of what others expected of him, or whether he was living up to the other people's goals and standards. I understand that. He was like the skipper of a ship who had relinquished his hold upon the wheel and hoped that he would drift into the right direction. My God. He was like a mountain climber who, as long as he looked upward to the peak he wished to scale, felt and acted courageously and boldly. But when he got to the top, he felt like there was nowhere else to go, and began to look down, and he became afraid. He was now on the defensive, defending his present position. Wow. Rather than acting like a goal striver and going on the offensive to attain his goal. He regained control when he set himself new goals and began to think in terms of what do I want out of this job? What do I want to achieve? Where do I go? Functionally, a man is somewhat like a bicycle. I told him, a bicycle maintains itself and its poise and equilibrium only so long as it is going forward towards something. My. You have a good bicycle. Your trouble is you're trying to maintain your balance sitting still. Sheesh. With no place to go. It's no wonder you feel shaky. Y'all listening to this? Gee whiz. Well, I gotta read that again. Functionally, a man is somewhat like a bicycle, I told him. A bicycle maintains its poise and equilibrium only so long as it's going forward towards something. You have a good bicycle. Your trouble is that you're trying to maintain your balance still sitting by sitting still with no place to go. It's no wonder you feel shaky. The hell? But let me also go back and say this too, because this one was good. Here we go. However, once he got the promotion, he ceased to think in terms of what he wanted, but in terms of what others expected of him, and whether he was living up to others' goals and standards. Here it is. He was like the skipper of a ship who had relinquished his hold of the wheel and hoped that the ship would drift in the right direction. So you take your mind and your mental and your focus off of where you're going and who you are, and you're just hoping that on autopilot it's going to keep going in the right direction. No, you're going to go back to a default. You're going to go back to fear. You're going to go back to comfort. You're going to go back to familiarity. Don't you fucking ever take your hands off of your wheel. You know who you are. You know who you've designed yourself to be. This is for the people that have literally come out of shit. You're coming out of religion. You're coming out of social shit. You're coming out of things with your family. You've been alone. You've been figuring out what you want. You've been putting up boundaries. You've been doing all this shit, right? And I have this conversation with people every year as we go into the holiday season, because Thanksgiving is the first place where the fuck ups happen. People got you fucked up, and then you fuck up. Thanksgiving. I don't know why turkey, dry ass motherfucking turkey, got people in so many people in a chokehold. The turkey ain't that good to go sit in disrespect. The dressing ain't that good to go be sitting in some discomfort like that. People that are like, well, sometimes you got to be in discomfort. That's a phase in your life that you got to be in discomfort. Now you go through your phase and be done with it. But me, I'm out of that phase of discomfort. I ain't going shit nowhere in discomfort. No, I pay the cost. When I'm riding on airplanes, if it's longer than about 3 or 4 hours, I'm not I'm not riding in the middle seat. I'm gonna pay the cost to be in the window, an aisle, or first class. I'm I have the resources and the tools to pay the cost to get myself where I want to be comfortable. Huh? One of the greatest resources and assets I have is being alone and liking it. That's an asset. And that's a gift that keeps on giving. Because I don't care if I'm alone. I don't care if I can't sit at this holiday table with anybody if it's going to be uncomfortable. I'll pay the cost. What's the cost? Being alone on November 27th? So be it. The fuck? As long as they got grocery stores here, I'll make my own chicken and dressing. Because I don't like turkey. I never have. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. If you're a person that you're like, okay, this year I'm ready to reintegrate back into the society, because that's where I'm at. I am in a stage now where I'm ready to reintegrate back into society, back into uh, part time, the matrix, a matrix, because there's a lot of different matrices. But I'm still gonna be me. I'm still a goddess. I'm keeping my hands on the wheel. I still know what I'm gonna say no to. I still know what I'm gonna walk away from. I know. I'm very clear. I'm very clear that I won't be in discomfort. I won't be in filth. I won't be in bottom of the barrel. I won't. I just won't. I won't. I can't. It's not that's not comfortable. Being in the bottom, being in discomfort is not comfortable. Being poor is not comfortable. I don't have to be. I'm too smart. I'm too valuable to be. And because I know I'm valuable, just because I know that I'm valuable, makes me valuable. It's an asset. My mind is an asset. I wrote a song. My mind is a weapon. My mind is the key. I've always had the power. I've always had the key. Yes. What was the rest of that song? I've always had the answer, and I choose me. I trust myself. I am God. Yes, I wrote that song a long time ago, a couple years ago. Yes, my mind is a weapon. My mind is a key. So I want y'all to remember that. Let me go. Let's see. Is there any more I want to read? Let's see. Oh, we are engineered as goal-seeking mechanisms. We are built that way. When we have no personal goal that we are interested in, hey, fam. We have no personal goal that we're interested in. That means something to us. That means something to us. We are apt to go around in circles and feel lost and find life itself aimless and purposeless. We are built to conquer environment. You book. We are built to conquer environment, solve problems, achieve goals, and we find no real satisfaction or happiness in life without obstacles to conquer and goals to achieve. People who say life is not worthwhile are really saying that they themselves have no personal purpose that are worthwhile. That was some good reading today. That was good. You see, I done dog eared it because I want to come back to that. I might read a little bit more later. Um, yeah, that was all right. Oh, you guys, I am done for today on live at least. I love myself. I love you all. If you don't mind, if you liked any of this, hey y'all. Damn, I didn't know how many people was on here. Hey. If you like this, please make sure that you like the video. Okay, make sure you like the video. That helps me. Share the video with somebody, and of course, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel so that when I'm on talking, you can hear what I'm talking about. Okay? And the true truth is that this channel is dedicated to the lifestyle of doing nothing. I have goals, and when I say I want to explain what doing nothing looks like for me. But I do live a life that's very peaceful, very calm, lots of naps, lots of relaxation, lots of meditation. I do not work a traditional job, but I live a very great life. And I just want to show you all, I want to role model something to you all, how to live a beautiful, purposeful life that is not full of static and drama and because it doesn't have to be that way. So I love myself. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Mwah. See ya.